Let's get this figured out. This world gon' give me whatever I need until I get this vision out. Then they gon' pay me whatever I ask, cause I got it figured out. Family be checking all up on a nigga to see how I'm feeling now. Damn, they love to see a nigga really make a killing now. I put a lock on the game and I hide the code and the keys. I am not playing no games, I really play this shit for keeps. That shit for me.
MaddenHeadz YouTube, what's going on? It is your boy Coach DC coming back at you today with another video. And you see right there's a nice swerve right there. Question was asked, what's the difference between the Hesi and the swerve, or is there one? That right there is a Hesi. The answer is yes. I call some of the stuff I do a Hesi swerve because I kind of mix both, but there is a difference between the two. The Hesi to me is a change of speed that's still going normally in the same direction. The swerve is when the ball's thrown like this and you see me come off the line right there and then go back to it. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to leverage the defender by pulling him either away or you know, the AI defender or whatever, you know. And this game works that way. It has for a long time. The AI defenders follow the wide receiver. I don't care even when we used to have play ball and all that, play the receiver and all that stuff on, it was all the same. That's the reason why they took it off. But the thing is that even clicked on defenders have a tendency to do the same thing, you know, as users, or, you know, as clicked on defenders or whatever. It's like, yeah, when I throw one up or something, you know, I'll body a guy and I kind of try to use his leverage against him up until the point that it's time for me to go for the ball. And so the swerve now, it's like I know how to do it, and probably a lot of my guys know how to do it, where you don't have to see. It's not as visible, but it's there. The effects are there. You just don't necessarily see it so much visibly, like right here. That was a swerve right there. It was just me just dipping just slightly to the left, or, you know, of his outside shoulder, and then getting back, you know, on the line with the ball, or, you know, when the ball arrives. And so yeah, I mean, like I said, I use both. This is more of a swerve. That's a swerve right there. You could actually see me kind of moving up, and I use it because the defenders bump so much, and you bump into so many defenders. It's like, if you can figure out how to avoid the AI defenders and stay out of, like, what I call the animation halo, because it's like a halo between the defender, especially when it's two-man like that, between the defender and the wide receiver. And it's like, if I can move enough to where I'm either on the outside or the outskirts of the animation halo to where the defender has to reach for me, and it becomes difficult for them to get the knockout attempt. So, like, that's a prime example right there. I'm right on the outskirts because I'm swerving a little bit. He was trying to body. I swerved a little bit to the left to avoid the contact, because I think it's the contact that causes it to happen. It's like, once the receiver and the defender make contact at any point in the route, it's like they stick together. It's almost, especially on deep passes. Let's just say that, yeah. And so that animation halo is not just when you're over the top or when you have the guy beat. You know what I'm saying? It's underneath. You know, it can be underneath as well if the situation calls for it. And so you see right there, as he goes too far, he's on the outside of the halo as I'm catching the ball underneath, and he can't turn around. And so, like, watch me swerve just a little bit, and you see it's almost like the game or the AI gets caught between going for a knockout and going for a pick or going for a swat or whatever. You see, like, right there, it's like he went up like he wanted to swat, but then he eventually just had to make the tackle. And so even especially in those cases right there are probably where it's so important, is because it's so hard to gauge like the underneath defenders on this game at times. And so when you have a guy beat, sometimes you have to give him a little swerve, because if you can give him a little swerve, the angle at which you can catch the pass and how, clear and clean you can be, to take off, once you catch it, like is case in point, is just evident. It's like right there, I had to swerve to do that. If I had just ran at the straight line, I'm sure at some point AJ would have gotten in that particular halo, and he would have made some sort of like, knockout attempt or whatever. And so like in here in practice mode, you could do it. I mean, you can still swerve. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like the old school kind of way that you guys are thinking about, like here. You see the first thing I do when I click on, I'm taking him heavy inside. And so I know, because the AI wants to keep an inside technique or whatever. They want to play inside on that particular throw on that. See, he's not going to go over there. He's not going to switch with me and go over there where the ball's at. He's going to try to stay inside no matter what. And as long as I kind of stay on the line or the path of the ball, the AI defender is just going to, that's what they're going to do. They're just going to follow you wherever you go. Like, watch, I can just take him all the way over there, bring him back, and then just make sure that I'm going for the proper catch animation, to retain the ball. So like on the first one, you see he really didn't make a hit attempt because I was outside of like that animation halo that I'm talking about. But here you'll see where, like I said, if you're too close and you make contact, in a lot of those cases, if you make contact, they're going to stick. So you see right there, I'm a little bit over aggressive, in terms of pushing him inside. But watch his head and watch my head. It seems like, so you see how like we're both looking up, we're both looking for the ball. Now watch when I turn, watch his head when I turn. You see where I'm turning, I know where the ball's coming down. Look at what he's late picking up the ball. And so I don't know, I'm not all into programming and all that kind of stuff. I can just tell you what happens on the game. But yeah, it's interesting. And I'm, my senses is that way again in real life, because the defender is trying to run and look back. And so that's a difficult thing. While the wide receiver is running, they're not necessarily looking back. They're trying to get to a landmark, which they know then the ball's going to come, and then they start to look back. So that's the advantage that the wide receiver has. But you see right here, so just look, you see how the corner has to turn, how Johnson has to turn his head and try to find out where the ball is. So you see that when I click on, I just take those little bitty steps, then I swerve outside a little bit, and then that's where I throw the brakes on a little bit. And so you see when I'm turning and facing, I'm already back facing the football, totally arms up in the air, waiting on the ball to come, and he's still in a recovery position where he's just able to turn around. And so, you know what I mean? And so even when they do play it right, there are just ways, if you can time out your animation properly, you're able to control the defender before he's clicked, before your opponent clicks onto him. So even if once your opponent clicks onto them, if your opponent's not doing the right stuff with the joystick, then that's when it becomes difficult to turn around. Sometimes, you may go against a guy who's highballing you or whatever. Pause. But it becomes difficult for you, even when you click onto the defender, to turn around. It almost feels like they're fighting and pushing you, in the direction that you were going. It's because you're not doing the right thing with the stick before you click to the guy. It's like, you have to kind of prepare the guy for what it is you're going to be asking of him. And so sometimes that may be pulling the stick back and L2. You know what I'm saying? It's not just pulling the stick back is going to work, because if you just pull the stick back, they're going to slow him down, but they're not going to stop him. You have to add L2 to get stopped. But same thing you see right here, that was me with a little bit of dip. I dipped a little bit outside to the left to get the animation, the turn and face animation, as I pulled the stick back towards making the catch. And so again, Like I said, he who animates first often wins the battle. Anyway, man, the virtual on this stuff is coming this week. Anyway, man, it's your boy Coach. I'm out.